Welcome everybody back for some more Timberborn double district challenge. We got district over here and we got district over here. Now in today's episode, as we failed miserably in the previous episode with the bad tides issue is, I've devised a bit of a plan to fix that issue. Now, hold on one second. Sorry about that. Just needed to change the media down. We have a triple floodgate system going in here to back up the water when it hits the, what's it called, a bad tide. So the water then will flow back down this way and down here, fingers crossing that it goes all the way back in and not horribly ruining this whole area here. Now, that should allow the water to come down here. We can obviously then high prioritize the removal of these so it creates a constant flow, hopefully not backing up too much. But we're now in a drought, so let's quickly put these up to the highest they can go, which will obviously help with the water flow situation and hopefully not affect us too much as well. See, there's a bunch of buildings that lack workers and stuff, as the food situation is not so good on both sides of the map. Quickly pause the water pumpers before I end up draining the river, which is something I have done numerous of times. But we should be okay, as we have all this water storage up here, and of course these guys will keep beavering away and building this area up here. Now, we only need this one here in case of immense flooding, which obviously send the water this way, down here, and we can obviously dam up the other end or put floodgates in down here. But to be honest with you, I don't think we're going to need that too much. But the primary thing that we need more than anything is that we obviously need to, well, keep the food up, especially, and then obviously with the engines not running because there's the lack of I was going to say lack of wood, but I don't think there's a lack of wood. There's definitely a food shortage. I'm definitely worried that this is going to obviously run out of wood. And obviously this is getting prioritised by coolers, and there isn't any coolers. One guy in there. So then that's actually getting topped up with wood, which should be good. Obviously we need somebody in there, but this isn't much of a priority. I suppose it is. We can drop a worker in there. Again, these guys are way more like worried about food more than anything else. So we can obviously try and then demolish some more area here. Actually, probably get rid of all of that because it's all dead. Like so. And then obviously we can get them to plant some new berries in there. And that should help as well. We've got loads of water in this area. We could probably also get them to plant some new berries over here. So we can probably get them to get rid of all of these dead ones, like so, and get them ready to be replanted with the forester here. And obviously we are going to go ahead and put another one in here. So we'll get them to finish up this, and then obviously they'll head down and start working on the other section as well. The water situation should not be too bad. These guys are still producing a ton of food, which will hopefully then be put into this side of the world. So then these guys will have plenty of food, which hopefully they do. Yes, they do have quite a lot of soybeans, but not really many bits of food, which is not ideal. Slightest. They do have homes though, so I suppose that's one thing. I'm not too worried about, like, I'm not really worried about science either. Main priority is food. But, yeah, we'll see. This is done. And there we have it, all built and ready to go. So in theory, we can pump these up to tier 2. And then everything will go back that way and not forwards. So when the bad tide comes, we can send the bad tide all the way down here. So it goes this way down the edge. So it doesn't touch the main water source, and we can still have a little bit of water storage as well. And then when the drought is over in 3 days, we can proof of concept it by obviously testing and see if it works. But it should be a constant flow that comes down here, so that'll be good as well. We can go ahead and set all these as high priorities, and they should, in theory, build more. And then, of course, we can add in another little farmhouse here, get the priority up of this a little bit as well. It just needs logs, so not too big of a deal. Now, I'm on 2 mines here. Like, do we put a bunch of berries in here, or do we go ahead and add another section of farmland? So I'm not too sure, because I don't really want to ruin the land. At the same time, I'm not too worried about ruining it if it does get ruined. Pause this because they are full of planks. Probably pause these as well because I'm not using them. On this side, ooh, just realised something. Oh no, okay, so that gives us 2 beavers, which can go in here and start making a science what is going on in this side of the world. So on the other side, seems to be doing okay for... No, it's not doing okay for food. I think it needs another fermenter. I think that's what's really slowing it down over here. Problem is, where do you put it? I think the answer is back here. So we can actually add one there, and then I feel like we should add just a path that goes along, like so, because then we can drop down there and there anyway. And then we can add in 2 fermenters on there, as opposed to 1. Which is obviously then connected, and everything should, in theory, work as planned. It's all connected to this side of the world, so that's okay. These guys can have a fermenter on the side here. Once they get that far, and obviously we can actually start getting them that far as well. So with the fermenter, obviously it was way more of a priority to get the fermented soya beans because it makes more, if that makes sense. So maybe it would be good to also have a soybean farm over here. I'm actually going to extend the path that goes kind of like, let's see, like down the back here. But just having that extra bit there. Yeah, it goes there and there. Connect it in. It's kind of like a big sort of farmland area. And then we can go ahead and plant the soya beans in. So they get built in there. These guys can obviously prioritize planting the soybeans. And the drought ends, and we can go ahead and lower the water. Shouldn't need to. But we can reinitiate the pumps. I think we did okay for water. So that's always good to see. I think we will will need to just drop these a little bit. But as proof of concept, we can of course pull these up to tier 2, which will then I did think that was going to happen. 1.5 brings it down a little bit easier. Okay, we need to do some sort of barriers. That's not too big of a deal. We just need to put a blockage in there. And then bring that down to there. And then that allows us to come through and do this whole thing again. I think the best way to actually do this is to just, I was going to say pick them up, but I might just demolish just this row. So then do that. Actually, yeah, I was going to demolish 2 rows, but I might just do what I'm doing now. Just get these ones demolished. Like this. And then what we can do is start. I'll make sure he's out of there. And then we can put in some levees along like that. And that should restrict the water straight down into here and not down into this area. These guys are now struggling for food. Once again, but then we can always get them both on harvesting. But as soon as the soybeans are done, we should be good to go. And obviously we can then get ourselves a fermenter on this side of the water as well. Like that. It just needs logs. These guys are obviously going to be prioritized higher. Anything else, and I think we can build a little farm over here as well. So should probably do that. Do some soybean. Use this corner to there. Do one more strip. Go. I think we need to move this log storage back here, but if there's like no logs in here, get them to empty that. And we can put in another farmhouse. The path that will go back, and then we can probably go ahead and actually extend it to here, but do have to be a little bit wary because the around here is getting a little bit infected by the water, so we do need to be a little bit careful. The levees up here are getting built. These guys should be getting a little bit better for food. As well. Then we can get the forester down here to plant us some new berries, which is in this bit for some reason. Yeah, you can plant some new berries in here. Obviously, it's not going to be able to reach. Well, that's not going to reach all of them down the bottom there, so get rid of all of them. but it can reach these ones here, which would be good, and this is all flooded. So be careful with that. And once the area up here is built, we can test that. Now there is a bunch of logs on the side of the world, so that's good. There's a bunch of planks too. Now, obviously, the next best thing would be to get some soybeans going over on this side. So we have a tree farm. These guys can actually farm it in this area as well. I think I was planning on putting the trees over here. But we can actually test this now to see if it will work. Pop that up. That will flood the water down here. Shouldn't, in theory, overflow, which it is currently doing. But it will. Yeah, just the volume of water is too much. We'd have to do like a little bit to come out here, but then I feel like that would flood. Yeah, it kind of floods that way, but it also floods this way. So if I put these up, put this down. That eases that water flow nicely, I think. Yeah. So that causes that to go better. It still floods out that way into here, but then it then flows off in. It's fully, yeah. And then that goes down to there. Yeah, floods. No, I think it's fine. So yeah, that will work for the bad tides. It's all about maximizing the amount of like water flow and stuff going in and out of the areas. Yeah, it will work. Those can actually stay at 1 because they're all flowing in this way and this way, which is kind of nice to keep all this area nice and green. So these guys are still rather hungry, despite having, I was going to say quite a lot of food, but not really. But these guys are now 8% done, so this guy's got nothing to do because he's just waiting for the soybeans. Yeah, I was going to go with that a while. These guys are also hungry, which makes no sense because they have like very plenty of soybeans to go around. Oh, no, seeds anyway. Might be worth pulling them. up to here, and just get them up here and letting them be able to gather. Getting the food up is more than anything else. So these guys get the berries from up here, these guys get the berries from down here. This guy actually can't reach all the way down there, and then this guy's like over the river, so he can't get over there either. Well, he has planted the berries in, which is good. It's also flooded with water, which will obviously drain over time. This is now nice and green. These are halted because there's no berries. Because they are obviously eating berries. We're going to set both of these to harvest. Now, the soybeans are good. These guys then can make their fermented soybeans, and now they have plenty of food as well. Yeah, I think that will do it for today's episode there. We have a kind of plan for the bad tide area kind of thing up here. I kind of want to just flow the water this way. I just want to dam it up, shove it this way. So it connects over here and then flows off the map in a relatively fast direction over here. Because I'm not really sure what you're supposed to do with the bad water at the moment. This is also flooding. Sometimes as well. But I kind of want to just flood it off this direction, so it floods all down here and goes that way. But it will mean, like, I suppose it won't do too much damage to do it. It's just demolishing some of these things. Doing it when it's not a drought. But I hope you guys enjoy it nonetheless. The food situation is getting considerably better, especially now that we have some fermented soybeans coming in. Then these guys now have a farm over here. This obviously takes a while to obviously set up and get ready to go, and it keeps flowing. I'm also thinking we just probably just delete this whole thing. So we got this one. Don't really need that one. Which will I was going to say in theory get rid of that water flow, but I think it has. Then we can put a ladder in there. Get that over there. But we can then get the other thing that I really like in this game, which is the aquatic farm. And just demolish like all that land there. They can go ahead and collect all that wood. Then we can get rid of the path and all that kind of stuff. So it's ready to go. But I hope you guys did enjoy it nonetheless, and both the districts are now working and completely operational. We can obviously then put that. Oh, I don't think we have the Short farmhouse. Is that part of the? Maybe it's only part of, because these are the other Iron Teeth beavers, so maybe it's only part of the folk tales. That's kind of. I thought they were part of both. I wish you could use both buildings for each of them. Adult beavers. Ah, so the extract is good for making advanced breeding pods, so then you instantly get the adult beavers. That makes a whole lot more sense. Yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy it nonetheless, and let's go do it for today's episode. And we can obviously cover up these two up here anyway, or just dynamite out, so it just literally flows out the map. Same with up here, we can literally just dam this up, dynamite out the map, so it doesn't even flood the map. And then as soon as we hear about it coming, we store as much water as possible and never have to worry about this bad water again. Because in theory, it's ruining the water. You see, it's ruining the ground over here, and it's ruining the ground up here. These guys will then go ahead and I need to actually prioritize this a little bit higher. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy. I'll see you guys next time for some more Timberborn Double District Challenge.